Hey everyone, it's Nick with the Whip Shop, and on today's video I'm going to be showing you how I made this 9x8 herringbone knot with whipmaker's cord. It's good to be back, guys. I've been gone for a little while. I had to tie up some loose ends with a Baltimore Oriole documentary that I made over on the other channel. Link up there if you want to check that out. That took up quite a bit of my time. It's good to be back here working on whip-related content once again. It's been a little over a year since I developed Whipmaker's Cord with the Paracord store. They were so generous to embark on this journey with me, creating this new cord to use in 24 plat whips. I asked you guys to share with me some of your creations with Whipmaker's Cord. So let's dive right into it. Just a bunch of fantastic whips. First whip we have here is from Elias and Whip Company. This one's from Isaac. Now take a look at this. This is a Zorro style bullwhip. Just a beautiful job. I just love a solid black whip with a nickel silver transition ferrule. This is a 6.5 foot whip. That is a very time consuming handle right there. Single strand, 24 strands. Wow. And right here as well, these two knots here on the top and bottom, sandwiching in that transition ferrule. Just a nice whip. Very nice job, Isaac. Beautiful. Next up we have a cool whip in red and black from Sensic. This is Sensic Whips. As you can see, he spelled his name in the handle there. And Whipmaker's Cord, because it's so thin, is so ideal for creating patterns and doing fancy plaiting, writing names and stuff. Because it's so thin, you can get more pixels in there, if you will. So nice job. Love the red and black. Cool whip. Nice work. Next up we have a stock whip from Evan Fava Whips. This is the whip that Evan Fava placed second place in at the most recent Los Angeles Whip Convention. Take a look at it and you're blown away. I got the privilege of seeing this whip in person, and it is just, it's astounding. Evan does outstanding work. I had the privilege of meeting Evan a couple years ago at the whip meet, and he's just a great guy, and he does great work. And it's great to see Evan enjoying this Whipmaker's Cord. Beautiful job there. Look at that handle. 24 plat handle, 16 plat thong. So awesome work, Evan. Next we have a couple whips by Anthony Styles. This is a smaller whip, a 6 foot 24 plat whip here with a Whipmaker's Cord. Got another whip by Anthony right here. Beautiful electric blue and black. Ironically, that's the same color of the knot that we're going to be tying in today's video. So those go together really well. Johan Etzebeth. I'm so sorry I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I know I am. This is cool. This is a hybrid whip. There's some kangaroo hide in there and also Whipmaker's Cord on the thong. Kind of a grapevine hitch at the transition there. I like that. Here's a whip by Nathan Stewart. This is a three belly whip. Three belly 24 plat bull whip. So green, black, and blue on that whip. That's a nice job. Here's a couple close-ups of it. And I like the English eye there at the end. I have yet to create a whip with an English eye. Nice job, Nathan. Thank you for sharing. Up next, we have an 8.5 24 plat bull whip by Jen King. Take a look at that. Wow. This is one of my favorites. Jen did a beautiful job with this whip. I love the handle. I love the intricacy. I love the smooth taper. Beautiful job. Thank you for sharing. Next, we got a whip by Pierrick. This is a micro whip. It's a 4 foot 20 plat whip made with a Whipmaker's Cord. I'm really attracted to the idea of making smaller whips with the Whipmaker's Cord. I think there's a lot of room to do that now, since the cord is so small. So that's 20 plat. Beautiful. Nice job, Pierrick. Coming up next, we have a stock whip by Eddie Vasquez. This is a 20 plat on the handle, 16 plat on the thong. Look at that handle. I don't know if I've ever seen straighter platting on a handle. Beautiful job, Eddie. That is a nice build right there. Here's a whip by Alam. You can see this one has a very interesting transition from the handle to the thong. I have not seen that before. Looks like you have the opportunity to give it a lot of strength doing that pattern you did. It's a little hard to see from the pixelated Facebook image. I recognize, looks like there's a globe knot from the collaboration video I did with Adam Winrich on the channel. So it's neat to see you utilizing that pattern that Adam taught us all. The last whip here is a whip by James. You can take a look at this, just a beautiful wooden handle. As you can see, he's integrated some whipmaker's cord into the overall build. James does some fantastic work. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, James. So, guys, thank you so much for sharing all of your beautiful work with me. Keep on going, guys. You're doing great. I know I'm going to. I think I would like to do some stock whips with the cord next. So I just appreciate you all sharing your creations with me so that I can share it with the whip world. All right, let's go down to the whip shop and let's tie together a 9x8 herringbone knot with whipmaker's cord. All right, we are down in the shop and it's time to get started on this 9x8 herringbone knot. The first thing you'll notice here is I don't have a whip that I'm actually tying a knot on. A couple reasons for that. Number one being that the whip has already been sent off to the client, and number two, it's just so much easier for me to keep everything in frame if I don't actually have a whole whip that I'm constantly trying to turn over and hold here. So this is just easier for me to show you the process. If you guys haven't already done so, I strongly encourage you to watch this video up here. And that was my first video on how to tie a herringbone knot based off of a 7x6 Turk's head knot. This video, this knot is basically the big brother of that knot that we tied. It's more complex even though the principle is the same. Also, it will give you the exact dimensions of this foundation and how I set it up. So I have two sections here of whipmaker's cord, a nice electric blue and straight black. They are both 4-foot sections of cord. We're going to be doing the first pass in blue here, and I have this needle laced up and ready to go. These needles come from the Jig Pro shop. These are type 1 micro needles, and there's a link in the description where you can get them. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive right into tying this knot. We're going to start with a 5x4 Turk's head knot, then we're going to expand it to a 7x6, and then finally, lastly, we're going to expand that to a 9x8. Once we reach the 9x8 portion, we can go ahead and tie our interweave, our second strand in black. But let's get started with the blue. So I'm going to zoom in for you guys. I think that's a good place to start right there. So I have the cord threaded into the needle here. I'm going to grab the opposite end. Once again, these strands are 4 feet long. I'm going to take this, I'm going to lay it 45-degree angle over the top like that, and overlapping there, I'm going to come up like this and go over like that. Hold that with my index finger, going around, and at this point we're going to go under, like that. Get the little loops out, or the twists. Continuing on, we went under there. I'm going to go over that one. Going to go up the side here. We're going to go under that one. Turning it like this, I'm going to go over that one right there. Hold that with my index finger once again. We're going to go down the side, over that one. Once again, over the side here, over this strand, and under this strand here. And holding that with my other index finger, coming around the side, I'm going to go over this strand, over that one, and under this one, like that. I can't tell you how much easier it is to tie this knot when I don't have a whole whip that I'm flopping around on the table and trying to force to do things that it doesn't want to do. So we went under this one here. We're going to go over this one and under this strand here. And so far we're just doing exactly what we did in my previous herringbone knot tutorial. I'll let you know when things start to change. We went under that one. Now we're going to go over this one here and under this one here. And remember to tie these knots loosely. I have a video on that as well, right up there. It talks about the science of the tightness of a knot, how you don't want it to be too tight or else it'll end up slipping off. So check that video out as well. Under this one here, over that one, and now we're going to go under. Going under this one right here. And now I'm just getting the twist out of here. I'm going to do that by taking my fingernail and sliding all the way down. And there we have it. So right now this knot is a 5x4 Turk's head, single pass. You can see I'm at this moment just kind of trying to even things out a little bit, where we don't really have to worry about it being perfect right now. But as we go, we need to keep in mind trying to keep these squares about the same size all the way around the knot. So the next thing we need to do is we need to expand this 5x4 to a 7x6. This is still nothing new. So we just went under this strand here. Now we're going to mimic what this strand does to the right, and when we come down, we're going to mimic it on the left. We're going to mimic the strand on the left. So here we go under, it goes over, we're going to go over. It goes under here, we're going to go under right next to it, like that. Just like that. Now once we get to the top here, we see that there's an X. We're going to go over both of these strands, and we're going to pick up this strand right here. So what it does, we're going to mimic it on the left. It goes under. We'll go under there as well. And then this just simply lays over the top portion of that X right there. Don't pull it too hard. So we went under here, now it goes over, we'll go over, but on the left-hand side, finally at the bottom, it goes under, so we're going to go under also on the left side. Okay, like that, looks good. And now, this is the pass where we're still expanding from a 5x4 to a 7x6, but we are doing the opposite of what the two strands do on the left and right side. So you see how this goes under and that goes under? We're going to go over that one. These two go over, so we go under. Like that. So the same thing that happened up here, it's happening down here. You see that? You're just going to lay it across those two right there. So we just got done going under that one, and now we're going to go over this one. And then we're going to go under that one, because the two on the left and right go over, so we go under that one. There we are. Like that. And now we're going to go over this one here, and under this one, like that. Try not to get any twists in there. And then as we go down, the same scenario is playing out. These two strands go under, we go over that one. These two go over, we'll go under. Like that. There we are. Down here at the bottom, these two go under, we're going to go over. And lastly at the bottom, these two go over, so we will go under, digging out that strand at the bottom like that. All right. So we've just completed the expansion pass. Now this knot is a 7x6 single pass Turk's head knot. This is where things are uncharted territory, most likely for a lot of you guys who are watching this video. And that's okay. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. You've done this before if you have followed the instructions in my previous herringbone knot video. And now we're just going to take it a little further. Nothing really new. It's the same principle. We're just going to expand it once again from a 7x6. Now it's going to be a 9x8. So now I'm just going through the knot, and I'm just trying to really even out all of these little squares just to make it all as even as I can. Just pushing strands around. You've seen me do this plenty of times in these videos. Nothing to be intimidated about. Just trying to make that top look symmetrical. And it's starting to get there. Once again, I'm not pulling any given strand super tight yet. Not yet. There will be a time and place at the end where things naturally start to fill in. But you see that? That's starting to look a lot better. All those little squares, diamonds, whatever perspective you're looking at them, will start to be more even and uniform. And the top should be at this point 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to count as a hexagon. 6 sides. If you look at the top there, that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but as we fill in the knot, it'll get better and better. So now we're going to expand from a 7x6 to a 9x8 Turk's head knot. So let's go. We just went under this one. We're going to go over this one. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to mimic this strand here. Whatever it does, we're going to do on the right hand side. And when we descend, we're going to pick that the other strand up, and we're going to mimic it to the left. So this goes over this. We're going to go over. This goes under. We go under as well. And this is just the same thing we just did a little earlier, just with a few more bites. It goes over, we go over. It goes under, we go under also. Almost out of the frame. Sorry about that. Up to the top. And now, here's the little X that we want to just go over the entire thing. So over this whole system, and now we're going to pick this strand up here on the left side. So this strand goes under. We're going to go under to the left because we're coming down this time. Up to the right, down to the left. So that should just be kind of laying across there, that X. See that? And I'm going to do that again because I feel like it was a little hard to see. I don't want to lose anybody here. I used to watch knot tutorials and I would get so far and I would lose it there. So we followed this one up. We did exactly. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. There we are. That means I have to hold my wrists more still because we're zoomed in. I think I can do it. We went up. We mimicked this strand up until the last one here. It went under right there. See that? So we did as well. And then we came up to the top here where there's an X right there. And now I pick this strand up. It goes under. I'm going to go under on the left side. Like that. And those pesky twists can be very distracting sometimes. It just lays over like that. See that? So continuing on, this strand now goes over. We go over, now it goes under. We're going to go under with it on the left-hand side. Coming down. It goes over, we go over. It goes under here, so we will do it as well. Going under. And then once again, this is the second half of the expansion pass where we do the opposite in the middle. These two strands go under. We'll go over this one. We're going to go under this one. And this is just resting on that X there. Same scenario. So we went under in the middle. We'll go over, under this one. Might have to spread these out a little bit as you go. Under this one. Digging it out in the middle. And just kind of pushing this over to the side. It goes over, and we're going to go under this one, like that. And now here, it might get a little bit confusing. Don't let this part confuse you. You see there'll be a strand here. You need to push that to the middle a little bit with your needle. That's the one we need to go under. So we go fold it over this one here. And then we're going to go under that one right there. Try to get the twists out if you can. Push that down with my thumb a little bit. So now coming down, these two strands, they go under, we'll go over. Now these two strands go over, we'll go under. Just like that. Get the twists out of this real quick. There we are. These two strands go under, so we'll go over. These two go over, we'll go under. The inverse. And now we're coming to the very end of our expansion. So, once again, pushing these two strands apart from one another. They go under, we'll go over this one, and then in the middle, the same little thing we had to do a little digging around at the top. We have to do the same thing here. And we're going to go under, because the two on the left and the right go over. And that is it. That is the expansion pass. We now have a 9x8 Turk's head knot, which is the base of our herringbone knot. Obviously, if we look at the knot, we have some cleaning up to do, no doubt. So what I'm going to do is kind of pick a point where all the strands are crowded together. You see that? And I'm just going to split them a little middle and just start pushing things away from that cluster. See that? Here's a little group here, a flocking of strands. We're just going to push them and spread them all out. We don't want any groups, tight-knit groups of strands. We want everything to be even, equal sizes of our black squares. There we are. Just pushing stuff around. Paying close attention to the top, too. You see that? We want to get that opened up just a little bit here. So I feel pretty comfortable about the shape of this thus far. I'm just going to pick one strand, go around, work the slack out of it. But I'm not pulling hard. I'm going to allow the interweave pass to do the tightening for me. And especially on a knot like this where you have so many unders and overs, you don't need to pull tight on the first pass, because those overs and unders over time will achieve more than enough pressure to hold things in place. So I'm going to keep kind of going around this knot, and I'm just going to make everything look better. And because this is a 9x8 single pass Turk's head knot, 9x8, there's a lot of stuff going on, so it's going to take a while. If you work one strand all the way through, it's going to take a little while, but it looks like we just made it. There we go. And I'm continuing to push things around. That's looking better and better. You could really spend more time than you need to making this perfect, or making it closer to perfect. But it is true that the more intricate the knot is, the more unevenness is visible. So that looks pretty good. I feel very comfortable with that. All right. Very good. Lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to take this strand and we're going to tuck it under a few strands consecutively, and then we're going to melt it into the foundation itself. So we went under this one here. We're going to go over this one, and we're going to go under this one here. It's almost like I'm starting another pass, but I'm not. I'm just doing this. I'm going to go under that one. I'm going to go under that one, and I'm going to go under that one, and then I'm just going to cut it and melt it into place. Under that one and under that one. So like under all those in a row. So once that's in place, I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to cut right here. At this juncture, I'm going to spread these strands away. Make a little clearing, a little landing area. And next what we're going to do is I'm going to melt this strand like this. Blow out the flame. And then I'm going to press it into the foundation underneath. And then I can close up that little landing area. And that is that strand's final resting place. And I'm just going to leave this tail here until the end. So basically that is what you want. This is a single pass 9x8 Turk's head knot. The next step is going to be to lace up our secondary 4-foot piece of whipmaker's cord and tie the interweave. Let's do it. I have here my 4-foot piece of whipmaker's cord laced onto my needle, and we're ready to go. So if we take a look at our knot assembly, we can see this is the entry point of where we started the knot. I personally like to start the interweave about 180 degrees around the other side. So basically the opposite side here, I like to flip it over and start it around here. And that pretty much comes up to about 1, counting this loop right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're actually going to go in right here. Now, when we are tying the interweave, which is the secondary color in a herringbone knot, the little follow the leader thing that I mentioned is flipped. Now we're going to mimic this strand here. Everything it does, we're going to do on the left. So up to the left, down to the right. And you'll see what I mean by that. So this is our strand here that we're going to be mimicking. I'm going to follow it, follow the leader. Everything it does, I'm going to do carrying that action out on the left-hand side. So here we go. Up we go. Pull this strand through until we get to about the end. And something I like to do is I like to tie a little knot. And it serves as a stopper. See this? So as we're going up, boom, stops us. So we don't accidentally pull the thread out or pull the lace out. This is our strand. This is our role model. It goes over, we go over. Now it goes under, we're going to go under as well. And we're already getting some twists. That's all right. Just like that. Remember, do not pull too tight. You don't want to pull too tight. We're letting the natural filling into the knot tighten things. It goes over, we're going to go over. Now it goes under, I'm going to go under. Oops. That's something that won't happen if I'm actually using a whip as a demonstration. That's all right. And I'm going to get my little twists out here. There we are. So we went under, over, under, over. We just went under. Now we're going to go over this one here. Now we're going to go under this one right here. Like that. And now we're going to go over this one, over that one, and then we're going to go underneath this X. And you'll remember this from the previous video. See that? We're going to go over this one here and underneath the X, like that. What a terrible time for a twist to form. There we go. Now once we emerge from the X, see that? We're coming out of the X. Now we're gonna pick this strand up here, and now we're gonna mimic what it does on the right hand side. Getting a little excited there, punching the microphone. So over that, we're gonna go under this. Our role model strand is to our left now. We're mimicking it on the right. It goes, we just went under, now we're going to go over, now we're going to go under this one. Like that. And now we're going to go over this one, under this one. So it's the same principles. We just went under this one. Now we're going to split that little pair of strands. I'm going to stick the needle in here, kind of push them apart from one another, like that. We're going to go splitting that pair, and immediately after we have an X at the bottom. Look at that. See that? And I can't stress enough how much my original herringbone video will help you to do this. So we're emerging from the X right here. We're coming out. Now we're going to go over this one and under this one, mimicking it on the left hand side. Right there. Right like that. It goes over, we're going to go over, and then it goes under. We're going to go under. There we are. All the way up to the top, it goes over there, and then we're going to go under immediately after. Following the leader. There we go. And now, once again, we find ourselves splitting a pair of two strands. So we're going to do this. Take the needle, just push them apart like this, through splitting those in half, and immediately after we have an X to go under, like that. Always making sure I'm not pulling excessively tightly. Kind of pushing things down a little bit with my index finger. We are emerging from the X, picking up that strand right there. This is our strand. We're mimicking it to the right. So it goes over, we're going to go over, and then it goes under. We'll do that. And it's time to de-twist my paracord here. I hate that happens so much. And don't worry, I'll show what we just did so you're not lost. This was our X. We just went underneath the X right there. And then we went over, then we went under. And now we're going over, and then we're going under. Like that. So we just went under. It goes over. Now we're going to go under that blue, splitting the set, the pair of strands. And something that I mentioned from the original herringbone video that I did is whenever you see two strands that are right next to each other, in this instance, you're going to want to split them. So we just split that. We went under the blue, and now we're going to go over this blue, splitting that pair of strands. And immediately after, we have a crossroads, which is the X that we are going under. All right. So we're emerging from the X. And the next thing we do is we follow this strand up. Whatever it does, we do to the left. It goes over, I'm going over, and I'm going under. Over that one, under that one. So we just went under, going over, and then I'm going under the blue, which splits that set, the pair. This is where things start to have the potential to get a little bit confusing if you let it. But there's a tip that you can carry out to make it not be confusing. And that is, whenever you're at a crossroads and you don't know exactly what to do, just pay attention to your blue strands. Pay attention. Never go under or over twice in a sequence. And I'll show you an instance of what I'm talking about. So we just went under this blue, splitting that pair, and then we're going to go over this blue, splitting that pair. Right after, we have an X. There's our X. Going under. Right there. So we just went under this X here. And now we're descending. We go over and under. I'm going to go over this one here, under here, and now we're going to have to split 3 pairs in a row. And this is what I was talking about when I said focus on the blue. The black, don't even worry about it being there, because you're always going to be splitting these pairs. So whenever there are 2 strands right next to each other of different colors like this, see that? Black and blue, we're going to be splitting those, so we don't have to worry. All we have to worry is that, what did I just do one step before? I went under, so that means I automatically have to go over this blue while I'm splitting. And then, because I went over, I have to go under the next blue, all while splitting pairs. So just pay attention to that base color. And that will keep you sane through the process. See that? There we go. And then we just went under this blue. So we're going to go over this blue whilst splitting that pair. Might really need to kind of push and dig that needle in there at this juncture. Now we're digging out that and going under the X that is quickly to follow. There. Now we can take a look here. We're emerging from the X. Now this strand goes over, so we're going to go over. Then it goes under, so we're going to go under. It goes over, and then we go under. And careful, the strand that we melted into the core can sometimes look a little menacing and confusing. Just ignore it. Don't worry about it. It's not gonna bother you. As far as you're concerned, it's part of the foundation at this point. So we went under this one, and here we go again. Over this blue while splitting the pair, under the next blue while splitting the pair. All right. Very good. So under that blue, and then over this blue while splitting a pair again. It really is getting a little closed up. That means it's a good sign. It means the knot's starting to materialize. So when things start getting a little tight like this, that's a good sign. So over this blue and under the X right there. The X will always be at the top and all the way at the bottom. That's where the X's reside. See that? All right, so under that X. And there's a twist. It always happens up there. It's annoying. There we go. Sent it through. Emerging from the X, coming out from underneath the X. It goes over. We're going to go over. Then it goes under. So we're going to go under. Over. Under that blue. While splitting. So under that blue, then we go over this one and under the next one while splitting those two pairs. Very good. So we just went under that blue there. So then we're going to go over this blue here. I have to wiggle that knot around. Sometimes it's hard to search for that entry point. You want to make sure that you don't accidentally go through the strand, because then it'll give you some problems. You'll hear a nasty like tearing sound if you go through it. So there we go. See, I'm opening up that little thing. We went under this one. We're going to go over this blue, and what we're doing is we're splitting a pair right now. So pick it up here. Remember, the X is part. This is part of the X, right? So we go under here. There we go. We made it through fairly easily. That's our X right there. It looks different because that's where we entered it. So naturally, it's going to look different. It's okay. All right. Very good. Give that a tug. Not too tight. Coming out from underneath the X. Here we go. Up we go again. Over and under. Alright. So we went under and we go over and then under this next blue while splitting. And over the next blue and under the next blue after that while splitting those two sets. Like that. Very good. So we went under this blue here. Guess what? Over this next blue here while splitting. And immediately after we have another X. See that? Push that through. Make sure we're still recording. We are. Good. Alright, we came out from underneath the X here, and time to go down. Here's the strand we're mimicking. It goes over, we will as well. Then we'll go under. Over this one here. Immediately under the next one. And from here on out, we're basically splitting pairs with every motion. Under that blue, over this blue, under this blue. See, it's like the black strand isn't even there. We went under that blue, and then we're going to go over this blue. Push that over to the side, get in there. This is sometimes, to me, though, the hardest part of tying this knot is just making sure I can get that needle in there. Wiggle it. Give it a little bit of breathing room by wiggling it and opening it up. There we go. It worked nicely. All right. And a twist formed, of course. What would it be without a twist? Pull that through. And we can snug that up a little bit as well. All right. We're emerging from the X here, from underneath the X. Goes over, we'll go over, and then we'll go under. Over this blue, under the next blue while splitting. Get the twists out. We went under this blue here. Under that blue, we're going to go over this one and under the next, splitting that next two sets. Okay. We went under this blue here, so that means we have to go over this blue. Work that needle in there, and then right away under the X right after that. It's repetition. This knot is just repeating the same action over and over again until it starts to fill in. That's all it is. And picking up the strand right when we come out from underneath the X, following it, mimicking it to the right. There it is, over. And now under this one, splitting. We're already splitting. That's why this thing's filling in so much. We're going under that blue. Right there. Under that blue, we're going to go over this next blue, and then under the next one, splitting. Next, we just went under, so we'll go over this one. Over that one, and careful not to dig that pressed strand that we pressed into the foundation. That's going to be right under here, so we don't want to accidentally lift that up too. Just make sure you don't do that. So we went under this one. We're going to go over this blue, and immediately after, we're going to go under that next blue. Pull that tight. And we went under this blue. We're going to go over this one. Dig that out a little bit. And immediately after, surprise, another X. All right. Coming out from underneath the X. This is almost done. Coming out from under the X, we're going to go over and under this next blue, over the next blue, and under the next after that, like that. Splitting pairs every time now. Every action we do is splitting. So we went under this blue, we're going to go over this one, and under the next one. Not as many twists are happening now, which I'm ecstatic about. Tilting the knot up like this, we just went underneath that blue. So now we're going to go over this one. We're going to go over that blue right there, so I'm going to push it down and push the black strand up so I can get it in there. This can be a little bit of a tricky part, but I'm going to make it easy for you guys. So this is our X right here. That's our X. So we need to go over that blue, turn the corner, and come out right here. I'm going to do that again for you. We went under here. We're going to go over this blue right here. I'm going to zoom in. This is the grand finale. I think I'm going to zoom in. Yeah. Yes. Over this, we went under this blue here, over this blue. Yeah. Over this blue, we went under this blue here. I'm going over this blue, splitting that pair, turning the corner, and coming out right there. And that's our X. So we just emerged from the X. We came out from underneath it. Now immediately we're picking up this strand, going over this blue right away. Over that blue. Next we're going under the next blue. Over the next blue. I'm going to push this up a little bit there. We went under that one, over and under, whilst splitting. Hopefully not twisting, which we've been doing plenty of the whole time. Under that blue, over this one, and under the next one, while splitting the whole time. We just went under this blue here. We're going to go over this blue, under this one, and then we have another X there. What do you know? There's another X. Very good. And let's take a quick look up here. It's looking good. And this is the final pass on this knot. Came out from underneath the X here. We're going to go over this one, splitting, and under the next blue, like that. So we just went under this blue here. That means we have to go over the next one and under the next one after that. So we went under this one. We're going to go over this blue and under the blue after it. So we went under this blue here. Now we're going to go over this one here. Like this, sticking the needle. We went under this one. I'm going to go over this blue while splitting this pair right here. Again, I'm turning the corner, pushing that to the side, and that's our X right there. See that? That is our X. So we went over this blue, and then this is our X right here. Right there. And while going under the X, we're actually splitting these right now. See that? So coming out here from the X, picking up that strand again, here it is, over the blue, right here. Over that blue, and under the next blue, getting the twists out. We went under this blue. We're going to go over this one, maybe, over this one, and under the next one, like that. So we went under this blue. I'm going to go over that one and then under the next. It's almost done. Whew, this is a long knot. I'm sweating trying to keep this thing in the frame for you guys. Hope it's easy to follow, I really do. We went under this blue. Lastly, we're going to go over that one, splitting the pair. The knot is finished. And pulling that through like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to examine the knot. I'm going to look at the top, and chances are I'm going to need to push things around. And that's not a problem. That's very easy to do. Taking my thumb, and I'm just going to push it around the sides, my index finger, just giving the whole thing some pressure. Now I can go ahead and trim these strands here. trim that one as well, and give everything a little melt, and then press it into the knot itself. Lastly, after that, I can give the whole thing a roll. Because Whipmaker's cord is not very thick, it's pretty malleable. I can just roll this thing with my hand. I can just use the edge of the table if I want to get it nice and round. I can do one of these. I just woke up my Siamese cat. She's freaking out right now. Sorry, Tipper. And I'm just molding this thing with my hand. And if you wax your whips, that will really make this thing solid. Right now, I'm just packing it in with my hands, with my fingers. If you haven't already seen my original herringbone knot video, please do watch that video. It'll help you just understand the principle of this knot. Even if there are some points that you didn't see me do or couldn't quite make out what I did, I hope that's not true, but it's possible. This knot's going to click for you. Once you understand the sequences and what interweaving is, you're going to get it, and it's going to make sense. Just really pay attention to those groups of strands of two colors, the black and the blue. And never at any point were we going over both of them at the same time. We were always splitting a pair and then going over the X's on the tops and the bottoms. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do reach down and hit that subscribe button, because it helps the channel grow, makes me happy, and it helps spread the word about what I'm doing here. So hopefully we can help more people get into this really fun craft of whip making. That's all for today. I will see you guys in the next one. One more thing I forgot to mention. You've been seeing a lot of politically charged advertisements in my videos. I have no control over the advertisements in my videos. Politics are the last thing that I want to deal with on this channel. This is not a place for politics, so I apologize for all the obnoxious ads that you may see. So that being said, just want to clear the air with you on that. Sorry, it's not my fault. See you guys in the next one.